have a Kindle with no case and I can crochet, so I will be crocheting myself a Kindle case cover for my Kindle. I have had this device for a very, very long time. I believe it's like 10 years. Whoa, I nearly dropped it. Oh my god, this is why I need a case. But I've had this for a really long time. I think like over 10 years. And I went through a phase, if you saw my Fibre Arts favourites for November, you may have seen me or heard me recount this tale, but I went through a phase of like not reading for ages. I went through some significant trauma and just couldn't pick up a book. I couldn't focus on the words on the page, and I was really struggling to read, even though reading is one of my favourite hobbies. I was very much like a Matilda kind of kid, and yeah, I loved reading, still do love reading. And recently I read the Walking Dead comics. I dug out my Kindle because I remembered I had it. Found out that actually with older Kindles, you can't log into your Amazon account if it's like past a certain age, because like the software or something won't let you, meaning you cannot access the books that you have paid for, which I think is crazy, because I'm like, but they're mine, I've paid for them, but I can't read them, you know? It's not even like they give it to you in a different file format and you have like a PDF or you have a file of it. No, it literally will only go onto the actual device, which I think is kind of messed up, but I'm not going to talk about that. So what I've been doing is basically finding PDFs and different file types of books that I want to read and physically uploading them to my Kindle. That's how I've like hacked it, because otherwise this device would be completely obsolete and I'd either have to literally throw it in the bin or trade it in for a new Kindle, where the same thing will happen in 10 years. And I don't want that. So this is a perfectly fine device. It charges, it works, so I'm not going to be doing that because I think that's nuts. I did used to have a case for this, and it was one that I really liked because you basically slot the Kindle into it and it has like a flap that goes over the top, like almost like a book cover, and then it had like a little elastic thing to kind of keep the top flap on protecting the Kindle. And I really liked it because it was protective. I didn't have to like take it out of anything and then like be left with this Kindle cover or this sleeve or whatever. And I could read it whilst it was in the cover still. I just basically didn't have to faff around, and it felt very protected when it was going in my bag or in a suitcase or whatever, when I was traveling, whatever the scenario would be. So I really want to crochet myself a case of that nature. I have had a look at patterns and tutorials, and a lot of the kind of Kindle and tablet and e-reader device covers and cases seem to be sleeves. They seem to be things there where you kind of put it in something and then you take it out, and I don't want that. At the moment I am just using a like hand strap thing at the back, and this works well for me for when I'm like reading in bed. It's just a little bit easier for me to hold it. I don't have a particularly massive Kindle, but it's also not very small either. It's kind of like, I'd say it's more of a tablet size in my opinion. Obviously I don't have a tablet to compare it to, but that's what I'm assuming. So I am going to utilize, let me put this down before I drop it. So I am going to utilize some of my scrap yarn and crochet a case for it. I am in fact traveling tomorrow. I'm going on a work event and I will be getting the train, and I want to take my Kindle with me, which is kind of what's triggered this. It's like 3 p.m. and I go tomorrow evening. I'm also working tomorrow, so I don't know if I'll be able to get it done on time. I think I will be. I don't know. I think I'll be able to get the crocheting done on time, but then maybe I'll need to like do the finicky bits, or maybe like weaving the ends or something like tomorrow daytime, or maybe even like whilst I'm on the train. I'm really not that bothered. It's not the end of the world if I'm not able to crochet this on time for my train journey, or for me to be able to like leave the house basically. I would like to, just because it will be a bit more convenient for me, but it's really not the complete end of the world. I'm also unsure about like the construction of it, because obviously I kind of need it to like slot inside, but I don't know how to do that. So I haven't really figured out the like logistics of it. I just know that I want something with like a cover on it. I don't think I'll be doing like an elastic kind of security band sort of thing, because I don't have any elastic. I think I might do like a button clasp closure sort of thing. I think I have buttons. I think I have Velcro, but I don't really like the idea of Velcro because obviously it's like fabric, it's crochet. So yeah, I don't think I want to do Velcro, even though, do I have Velcro? Anyway, whatever, I'm not doing Velcro regardless. I think either a button or like, I think I've got like, you know, the clasp button, the clicky buttons. I think I've got some of those potentially. So I'll have a little look. I will be using scrap yarn. I will be winging this completely, and we're just gonna hope for the best basically. So we're gonna crack on and I will check back in with you soon. Okay, it is the next day. I technically was able to crochet everything in one evening, which I think is quite impressive to be fair. So let me show you like my progress. So I obviously went for like a little checkerboard situation, which I think is really cute. I used some scrap yarn. This is like leftover yarn from my Clown Jewels sweater, and it's a fun little checkerboard with the lilac and the blue. I used this darker blue on the outside. It's obviously got like the little kind of front closure situation, and then I basically created this little button band so I can secure the front basically. Obviously I will need to sew on a button here, and I did have a little peruse through my buttons. I was really unsure which one I wanted because I do have some like really miscellaneous buttons, either from like my mum's collection or some that like my partner found me from like a car boot sale and stuff, but I found this one, which I think I've only got like one of these. It's a really nice big chunky button, which I think is very cute. I like the idea of having a big one. I wasn't really keen on having a super small one, and I think it goes really nicely with the actual case. I was thinking of using one that's like a really bright color or really funky. I have these like fun little floral ones which are like really bright, but I didn't want anything that was like kind of shaped, that was like a cutout. I just wanted like a simple circular or square button, and I think this kind of really fits the bill. So it fits perfectly. I think it goes really nicely with the actual case. So that's that. And then for the actual like bit where I put my Kindle in, this is where I was like getting a bit, not confused, but I was like, I don't fucking know how to do this. So I essentially found, not the exact listing, but found the product of like what I had before, where it had the same, basically the same design, but not the exact one that I had. And I kind of just like zoomed in on a photo and was like, how did they do it? I do think I will have to not crochet the Kindle into it, but I do think that I'll have to like awkwardly kind of like sew it in, if that makes sense. So basically what I will be doing is, let me actually change the position of this so I can show you properly. Okay, so we're obviously excusing all of the ends. So Kindle, hello, that's me. Kindle is securely in this little gap, fits very, very nicely. Obviously we have our front closure. There will be a button here to secure, so this will be what it looks like when it's like closed and like in my bag, nice and protected. And then I have like these little bits. I'm just going to turn this over so I don't have to like stare at myself in the reflection. But basically what I've done is I've created these kind of thingy majiggies where it will essentially kind of like hold it in place. So we have, don't mind all of my laundry by the way, so we have this bit here, which obviously it's a bit like curly, but that's fine because I'm going to be sewing it down, which will kind of go over here. This part will be sewed onto the actual case, and then this part will like wrap around the edge to like keep it secured. For the bottom of it, which is obviously where I have like the charger port and I want access to that, I did this one, which is looking a bit cray cray, but basically it's got like these two edges so that there's like a gap in the middle so I can still access the charger port. So basically the same thing where we have like it secured on there, and then this bit will be tucked under and then like sewed onto the actual thing, and then that bit will kind of keep it secure in place. I was ideally wanting to do it all where like the sides all connected, but I was like, I really don't know how to like figure that out. I've also left like really long tails so I can sew everything on, but basically the plan is that I'm going to like sew these little bits together at the corners. So I am also thinking, obviously I have like this back strap thing, so I can hold on to the Kindle more comfortably for when I'm actually reading and like reading in bed and stuff. So far, again, I'm just going to turn it over just for demonstration purposes. So obviously if I was to put a little connector thing on every side, I'm basically like crocheting the Kindle into this, which I don't mind, but then it means I can't access this, and I don't want to put this on the outside of it because it's obviously a little bit bigger than the actual Kindle, and it's just gonna like fold it over, and it's not gonna like, it's just gonna match it up. So I don't want to do that. So what I'm thinking is if I leave this gap open, and then I can still put my hand in it, and then it won't fall out, because when this is closed and secured, it will be secured. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? I'm really like, this is, I fully have winged this. I did it in an evening. I really could have stayed up late and like finished it, but I am actually working today. I'm literally on my lunch break, so I need to like pack and stuff, so I was like, I don't want to stay up late. And also, like I said, it's really not the end of the world if I don't finish this like in time for my trip. I can do it on the train, I can do it when I come back. I'm really not that bothered, and like it's just gonna go in my backpack where I have access to it. I know I pack very well, let me just say that. So yeah, that's where we're at. It's looking a bit, it's looking a bit crazy, I can't lie. I think I am going to focus on, because I haven't packed yet either. I don't need to pack a lot, but I also need to like put my laundry away, I need to tidy and stuff. So I'm gonna focus on that. If I have enough time before my train journey or before I have to leave, great. And I will address this. If not, I'll maybe do it on the train, maybe I won't. Who knows? Who knows when you will next hear from me? But yeah, I think it's gonna work. I think it's going to work in the way that I need it to and want it to, in terms of like how I use my Kindle and like how I want to hold my Kindle, how I want this case and this like cover to be. It's also like relatively, it's not like thick, but I do think it's gonna offer like a decent amount of protection. I also really would love to get like a screen protector for it, but like because it's so old, I don't know if there's screen protectors in that size that are like made for that. So like, you know, like the tempered glass ones. So I might have a little look, because I think like just an added bit of protection would be great. So yeah, it's going well, it's going good. I will keep you posted. Okay, so I did in fact manage to finish it on time for my work trip. I did have to weave in the ends on the train, which honestly didn't take me that long. It took me about 15-20 minutes, but I was able to like sew on the little kind of like, you know, attachment thingies that I needed to like secure the actual Kindle in the case. And then yeah, it was just the ends to weave in on the train, which yeah, like I said, did not take me long at all. But I just was like, I had stuff to do. I needed to pack. What is that noise? I needed to whatever. I needed to tidy, so I was kind of like, I can weave in the ends on the train, it's no bother. But it works brilliantly. Let me show you a little close-up. I secured the button. Very cute. I think it goes really nicely. And I think I mentioned, but I used some scrap yarn. This is all leftover yarn from my clown jewel sweater, which is a Tunisian crochet project which involved a lot of colors. And this is kind of like, this is an acrylic yarn, but it's kind of a little bit on the, I don't know how to describe, sturdier kind of side. It honestly reminds me of a cotton, like a sturdy cotton. That's kind of what this texture of the acrylic reminds me of. And then yeah, I did this fun little checkerboard which wraps all of the way around. I just carried the yarn. I didn't do bobbins or float or anything like that, so you can see the checkerboard is also the same on the inside. And then I just did this really nice border with this dark navy blue, and as I was doing it, let me show you the inside. As I was doing it, I basically, when I kind of got to the point where I thought a button band or like a fastening or closure would go, I just created this extra area here, created a little kind of buttonhole for where I was like roughly going to position the actual button, and then obviously just went around with the border as well. But this is the Kindle actually in, hello, actually in the case. But yeah, this is kind of what it looks like. I think I mentioned that I basically created like these little extra pieces to essentially secure the Kindle into this case. And the good thing is that because obviously where it's crochet, it's like a fabric, it's soft, I can like still take the Kindle in and out. I did kind of like sew all of these little parts with the Kindle inside it, so just to make sure that it was like sturdy and it fit comfortably and blah blah blah, but I can still comfortably take this out if I need and want to. Very unlikely that I will, but like it's good to have the option. I created a gap on the bottom one so I can still access the power button and the charger, and then it's like nice and secure on this side. I also kept this bit open as well because I have speakers on my Kindle. I don't know why I would use speakers. I think I used to have like there was access for like audiobooks and stuff, but I won't use that on the Kindle because I feel like the sound won't be very good. But there is that option, so I thought I might as well keep it clear as a just in case. And then I think I mentioned as well, so I have one of those straps on the back of my Kindle, so it's a little bit more comfortable for me to hold when I'm reading, either in bed or, you know, ever. And I was a bit, you know, torn as to whether I wanted to keep the strap on and like, you know, take it out of the case. But the whole point of me making a case like this was that so I didn't have to take the Kindle out of the Kindle cover. And so I was like, well, I still want to comfortably read. So I basically left this bit exposed so that I can now slip my hand in there and I can reach the little strap, meaning that I can like hold it very comfortably. So I think that that was a genius move on my part. I'm really pleased that I kind of was able to figure out the almost like the mechanics of the case and like what I actually wanted, because I literally just wanted the exact same case that I had before, but I didn't want to have to pay Amazon for it, and also I wanted to crochet my own. So I think this is a win. This is exactly what I wanted. I did, so with the actual sizing of it, I did make it ever so slightly small, like not, it still fits, but I do have to kind of like almost stretch it over a little bit, same with the button band to obviously fasten it. And I did that on purpose because I know over time this is going to stretch, and I didn't want it to kind of get really loosey-goosey and for it all to kind of fall out and stuff. So yeah, I'm really pleased. I will kind of show you in action what it actually looks like. Oh, and so also as well, when I'm actually reading, I obviously don't want this bit like just flapping around, so I'm basically able to attach the button to the button band, meaning this bit doesn't just like flap out. Let me show you. So that's what it will look like from the back, and then we have the gap on this side which I can put my hand in, and then this is what it will be like when I am, you know, reading. This is how it will look, and then that's what the back looks like. It does still flap ever so slightly, but like I'm really not bothered about that. But it was just more, I don't want it to be hanging and like in the way, but this is like, you know, fastened with the actual button. So it's really good. I'm really pleased with it. I've read with it several times. I read with it when I was on the train. I have read with it since I've been back and in bed and on the sofa, and it's very comfortable. I am still reading Tokyo Ghoul. I am currently on volume 10, and yeah, I'm really enjoying the series. I think it's great. I'm really excited to kind of like read the rest, because I think I mentioned in my Fibre Arts favourite that I watched the first season, maybe season and a half of Tokyo Ghoul, but I just like really couldn't get my teeth stuck into season 2. So I really enjoyed the story, and I'm looking forward to like seeing how it concludes. But yeah, I am really pleased with this. I think it's fun for me to do some crochet projects that aren't like a whole garment. I think it's very rare for me to do a whole project that's not a garment. I think purely because like I don't really need or want a lot of like accessories and stuff, but like I will always want more clothes. So I very rarely will make something for myself at least that's not, you know, a jumper or a sweater, a dress or a top or whatever. So it feels nice to be able to kind of like utilize my crochet skills for other aspects of my life, you know. So yeah, I really enjoyed crocheting this. It was a really fun, quick project. Like I said, I got all of the crocheting part done in an evening. I definitely could have like, you know, stayed up for a couple more hours if I wasn't so like, if I didn't have like packing to do and tidying to do, and obviously like I wasn't working the next day. I definitely could have like gotten this done in an evening, but I was smart and sensible and responsible, and I think that's okay sometimes. I thought the bits that were like holding the Kindle together were going to be a lot more difficult to create, but I actually managed to figure it out quite easily, so I'm quite impressed with myself, to be honest. But yeah, the Kindle case is all done. I feel a lot more comfortable like traveling with it and taking it places now, because it's like got some semblance of protection. Yeah, really pleased with it. I'm looking forward to kind of like getting more use out of it as well now I'm like back on my reading game. But yeah, that's this project all done. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a little like and leave me a comment to let me know what you think. And of course, if you enjoy crochet and lifestyle content, please be sure to subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I will hopefully catch you on the next one.